The Cape Winelands Economic Development Council was launched last night. The council partners government, business, labour, youth and civil society. Now, to tell us more about the council and what it proposes to do, we're joined by Clarence Johnson, who is the executive mayor of the Cape Winelands District Municipality. Mr. Johnson, thanks a lot for joining us. Now,
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, this body has been described as an economic advisory council, but really, what are its ultimate objectives?
Apart from being an advisory body, it will also undertake and explore a new way of repositioning our district, particularly in view of the changing challenges that we have with regard to climate change, energy issues, water resources and so forth. And I believe that that means that as a district we need to reposition ourselves for the future. It is my vision to have a district known as the Silicon District in 10 years' time, and within 3 years' time I believe that we should ensure that the Cape Winelands is internationally known not only for its wine but as an international renowned knowledge hub.
It's an impressive goal there, of course, as you say in some of your press releases. This is going to involve initiatives from government, business, youth, civil society. What involvement or form of involvement will that take?
Well, we have already seen the signs of one, building social capital, also human capital, where business invested considerable amounts. I can list to you the Graham and Rona Beck Skills Development Center, which was built with private capital to the tune of 18 million rand, and which will be launched later this year. So that's a direct private capital investment. If we look at where Professor Mark Solms, to cite another example, mortgaged his own land to raise capital for land reform purposes, it's another example where a private person got involved in order to raise capital, and it's not government funds. So I believe that the building of consensus at the local level to grow local economies to reach the target of 6% growth set by President Mbeki, and as well as the other goals that we have set in terms of millennium development and so forth, means that we as a community at a regional and at a local level, we are forced to work together to fight unemployment and to get our people out of the queues for social grants.
And now, having said that, former chair of the South African Wine Council, Professor Kara Arsenal, he said earlier this year that the social transformation should be top priority, in particular the desperate situation on the life of the farm worker. How do you see this panning out in the next few months?
Well, I think that the body that we have brought together are in fact in their own right as individuals, experts on the, we have a diverse body of trade union members representing COSATU interests. We have government, local, provincial and national, as well as business people or former business people. And particularly their wisdom, experience and knowledge as far as business is concerned, I don't think they should be sitting on the stoop, and rather that we harness that intellectual capital and their willingness and to contribute is in fact already appreciated, because it took us some time to in fact to get the Economic Development Council as a body together. After we undertook our Growth and Development Summit in October 2006, we are now finally able to roll out our developmental objectives as a local authority.
Now, I raise the question because some statistics on TB infections, for example, are quite alarming. Some of the highest rates of TB infections in an area that house some very wealthy people. So how is health issues, if we look at the cohesion of the broader community, including farm workers, will be tackled in form of this council?
We have undertaken, at the time when the function of primary health care was still vested with the district, a comprehensive and holistic approach to curative measures, where we were able to achieve more than 80% curative rate. And I think that this is to look at nutrition, to look at infrastructure like access to clean, drinkable water. We're continuing with infrastructure as far as that is water is concerned. Also, as far as sanitation is concerned, safe sanitation, training of farm workers as far as the utilization of the different types of sanitation facilities available. And I believe that, we have built on the farms, some farmers even provided space for farm workers' clinics to be developed on the farms. So I believe that if this function, together with our provincial counterparts, can be brought again back to the same level that we were able to achieve those rates of the curative rates, then surely it will keep more people away from our hospitals and so forth. And I think that we should revisit the current situation.
On a more positive note, I see there's a shared vision for the district by 2014. Tell us a little bit more about the goals there.
Well, I believe that at the current rate of development, our wines have been very favorable in the UK market. Over the past 4 months, we have, South African wines sales, rocketed to 26% over and above the previous year. So if we look at the selling of wine as that our product is in demand, then it means, and as well as the Cape Winelands as a lifestyle destination, close to the sea, close to the city, but retaining its rural tranquility and ambiance of lower crime rates and so forth. I think that there is in fact a big we're reaching our targets on economic growth. 55 billion rand have been invested by the private sector in the past 5 years in the Cape Winelands, and I think that this investment, if these investment trends are continuing, we will be able to reach the targets. But I must warn that the economic growth rate that we are currently having is a concern to me, is that it is jobless growth.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Clarence Johnson there, who's the Executive Mayor of the Cape Winelands District Municipality. Thanks a lot for joining us.